McFee. He is the general manager of AMS Digital right here in Belleville. And he's here to chat with us about marketing trends that we need to jump on for 2022 and things that we need to consider going forward within this year. And I would just like everyone, just a reminder again, just remain on mute. We will answer all questions at the very end, so you can unmute yourself, ask your questions, as well as we have our people within here, our office, and they will ask questions at the very end as well. And I will now pass it over to Andrew.
Thank you very much, Brianna, for your fantastic introduction, and thank you to everyone in attendance here in person and virtually here today. I really appreciate you guys coming and listening to our talk and doing our workshop with us here today. So yeah, as Brianna said, today's topic that we're covering is marketing trends that we need to jump on in 2022. A little bit about me and about us. So again, my name is Andrew McFee. I'm the general manager at AMS Digital. We're located right here in town at 250 Sydney Street. So just a short trip from where we are at the Small Business Center today. We're basically a one-stop shop for any kind of digital marketing that a business might need to do. That's pretty well everything about that. So the first topic that we're going to go over today is that content is key. So now this isn't necessarily a new trend or something that just started happening in 2022, but it's something that gains increasing importance year over year as we go. So I would be very remiss not to talk about the key nature of your content today. So the first type of content we're going to talk about is video-based content. So video dominates again year over year with the proliferation of smartphones. Now that we have 5G and everything else, we're only going to see this trend increase further and further. Now, a neat thing that we're starting to see as well is that, now 4 of the top 6 channels which are used by global consumers to watch video are actually social media channels. So when you think video, typically people think YouTube, and, they're right to think so. As you see, they're definitely still dominating. However, Facebook is, making a good play to catch up, as well as you can see the other social media platforms as well have just a ton of video watching, each and every day. So 44% of people watch 5 or more videos online every single day. So as a result of that, you have an extremely valuable opportunity for your business by using video content. So another study by iView Digital, which is a company that created personalized messaging via video for businesses to communicate to potential customers with. They did a study that revealed that using video on your landing page for your ads can increase conversions by 80%. I read a quote, I forget who, but one of the higher up in Google said, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video is a library. So you'll also notice as we go on today, each slide, you'll see the sources at the bottom there. I'd be happy to make all of the, different sources for my presentation available after the fact as well. Now, one of the most common things I hear when I talk to business owners in my role at AMS Digital is that they just don't have time. Commonly I hear something like, I'm a carpenter, I don't have time to be on Facebook all day. I'm not a creative type. I want to be doing my business, but at the same time, it's definitely something that, again, content still being key and even being more key as years go on. It's something that you need to be on top of. So in order to maximize that while still giving yourself enough time as a business owner to, focus on the core aspects of your business, you need to find a way to get low effort, low time commitment type content. So just as kind of a recap, effective content kind of seeks to do a couple different key things. You want to increase your website traffic. You want to increase your impressions and views, increase the shares. You want to increase your brand's visibility. Clicks and conversions is a big one, obviously. Sorry, we're having troubles with the slides there.
No, I was just moving this comment over here.
Oh, okay. No worries. It's supposed to provide value and provide thought leadership. So thought leadership basically being, the term used when you're demonstrating your expertise in your chosen field. By providing this type of insightful content, you're kind of showing not only expertise, but also more value in your brand, that you're friendly and able to interact with customers. We'll get more into that a little bit later. So one type of good low effort, low time commitment content are data visualizations and infographics. I'm sure everybody's probably seen a few of these in their time on social media. But basically, these are these neat diagrams that kind of show a flow of information that you want to lead the potential client to a conclusion with, right? So if you have an excellent set of data points that's worth sharing, it's a great way to visualize that. There's tons of great online resources as well for creating these types of data visualizations. Canva is a great choice. Obviously, we have no association with Canva beyond the fact that we've utilized it ourselves. Pretty handy platform when it comes to taping something that might be a little bit hard to express, without having a long conversation, and condensing it down into something that's easy to digest, really gets the point across, and ultimately can be used to lead potential clients down your sales funnel. Another big one, and something that's becoming, again, bigger and bigger year over year, is user/customer generated content, or UGC. And you kind of think about it, right? What would you be more likely to respond to? A photo created by a brand you follow, or one that's shared by a person you know? Obviously, you think about the power that a referral has. That's based on trust, based on someone that you know. That same type of power is transferred to what we call user generated content. So people ultimately trust other folks. So
we'll have to stop and reshare because the people on the online side, they cannot see everything exactly the way we see it. So we can stop sharing and then we'll reshare again.
For sure. I can go back a couple slides for folks as well too.
Okay.
So go right ahead.
Everyone, just one moment.
Is everybody able to see the slides now?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, everyone.
So for the benefit of everybody who couldn't see the ones before, I'll just kind of do a quick recap here. So has it been this way since the start, or? So we'll just spend a little bit of time on each slide for the benefit of folks.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes. Thanks. I've been taking notes.
I could also make this whole PDF presentation available to everybody after the fact as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. These are all cycling through. Perfect.
Yep. Perfect. Everything's coming up perfectly.
Excellent. Yeah. So back to user generated content. You kind of benefit from that trust that folks, have in other people. It's kind of one of those things you can, kind of take what maybe a sales guy says or an advertisement says with a grain of salt. People have that natural tendency to do so. But if one of your friends says, hey, this thing that I bought is fantastic, it's filling this need great for me, or this business has been fantastic, well, you're going to put a lot more merit and a lot more stock in that, right? So user generated content is kind of your modern day word of mouth, but it proliferates much faster. So you can get your user generated content from 3 sources. And here's a little side note, don't ever try to fake it. People can sniff it out pretty quickly. So yeah, it'll come from 3 sources, genuine stuff will anyway, your customers, brand loyalists, or your employees. But how do we get it, right? Again, the topic is low effort, low time commitment content, and that's how we want to keep this train rolling here. So 3 great ways to do it. You could run contests and quizzes on your social media for your business. You can ask questions of folks who follow your business on social media. And you can also publish your reviews. Don't ever be afraid to dress up and publish, a positive review across all your channels whenever you can. Again, people are going to take the word of someone who took the time to review, automatically more so than anybody telling them so from the business. So we have a couple different examples of these 3 ways that you can get UGC. This is actually a client of AMS Digital's, Chicken Kingdom and Seafood. I will take a second here to plug them. They're out in Campbellford and they are fantastic. But that being said, we administer their social media for them. Probably one of our most fun accounts that we do, because we get the opportunities to try to generate this user generated content in some really fun ways. So again, contests and quizzes. We ran something and we ran it for 3 or 4 different rounds, or 3 or 4 different times. It's called the Winner Chicken Dinner Contest. Basically, we gave away, the restaurant gave away a free 10-piece family meal deal, including all the sides and all the fixings. All anybody had to do is hit the like button on the post and tag a friend or family member that you would share this dinner with. So right there, we're generating the means to have this spread. It's a contest with a pretty cool incentive. Everybody likes a free meal. At the same time, it didn't cost the business an arm and a leg to do it, right? So it was pretty low effort, low commitment. Basically once people did what they had to do on social media, we picked a winner. Generated a lot of activity, generated lots of comments. Another one is asking questions of your customers, right? So you want to ask a nice open-ended question generally. Not a yes or no, but basically, we ask people, it's the battle to end all battles. Which chicken piece do you prefer? Right? Everybody's got, their opinion. Everybody's got their favorite. Again, so asking questions of your social media following is a great way to get them to generate that user generated content in pretty low effort as well. And last but certainly not least, publishing your positive reviews. Right, so this was a 4-star review on Google that we took and we posted to their Facebook. Did a little bit of dressing it up to make it a nice social media post. I believe that was done through Canva, which we mentioned earlier. And again, we also use this as an opportunity to ask for more reviews. Right, so while you're showcasing your positive review, you're actually giving yourself, again, the opportunity to generate more of that user-generated content to use in the future. So it's really something that you can use to kind of self-proliferate with, which is great when you consider the focus was low efforts, right? You don't want to be spending all day generating this stuff, but you definitely need to have this stuff available for, interaction, for conversions, for brand awareness and everything else like that. Now to a little bit less exciting topic, but something that again needs to be covered, using keywords to drive traffic. So what I've got here to start is a little bit of a recap on how to find keywords for your business. I know it seems like a simple thing to do at the outset, but sometimes you can find it's a little bit bewildering. So first, what you want to do is make a list of what you think search engine users might enter in order to find the products and services like yours. So you kind of want to take a minute, take yourself out of the, your own shoes and put yourself into the shoes of, the person you're trying to attract and convert. Jot down a list of the relevant terms that describe your products and services. Another big one too is you want to ask friends, ask family, ask a random guy on the street if you want, how they would search for the products and services that your business offers. So as the business owner, you're going to have a whole different set of language and a whole different set of mental framing. You're not necessarily going to be seeing it all the time. Even if you try to put yourself in the shoes of a potential customer, you're not necessarily going to do that the best all the time. So get other people to let you know how they would do it. Their answers might surprise you and they're going to provide you a lot of value. There's also free keyword research tools online like Google Trends and Keywords Everywhere. You just Google those both, you'll find them fairly easily. These are really important as well because they're again a great resource to see how people are actually searching for the different business categories that you may be a part of. So some tips for choosing keywords. You really always want to keep everything relevant. It's definitely crucial to keep it that way. You can kind of get lost in the weeds here a little bit with your keywords, especially when you are running Google Ads and that sort of thing. But just as an example of keeping things relevant and very specific, the keyword of jewelry supplies would not be a great choice of keyword for a jewelry store. These folks searching for jewelry supplies are looking to make their own and not buy yours. So while jewelry is in there, they're not generally your client that you're definitely trying to target in this case. You do, however, want to have a variety, right? So while keeping things relevant, you want to choose a variety of related keywords and plan on incorporating them onto a single page in your website. So once you decide on your primary keyword, you can kind of branch out from there and look for terms that you can use as secondary SEO keywords on that page on your website. The goal here is you want to set up a nice little one-stop for Google to index that is going to correspond with all of your relevant keywords that you're trying to attract customers for. You want to make it as easy as possible for Google to find this content, find this information, and then associate it with you to relevant search queries so that, you know, your potential clients are, you know, more likely to find you and land on you when they do search for these. Yes, sir.
Can I ask a quick question, or do you want them at the end?
That's okay. We can do one now.
Keywords, every page that we have on our 60-70 page website potentially could have keywords. And I guess if we do something which is specifically a topic-based page, then we probably would add a keyword. But does it make sense to put all your keywords on every page or only on the home page?
Yeah, so duplication is good. You definitely still want to have one page that kind of sums everything up as well, right? So you want to make it as easy as possible. It's good to have you know, a richness of content and a you know, plethora of it, but at the same time, you want to make it easy as possible for Google to find you and associate you with the searches that you want to be getting from.
So I have another kind of question related to that was just asked here too. Do hashtags really work? Is it still a trend as well?
They do.
Okay.
They do. It's just a matter of finding the right ones, finding ones that kind of
So
excite and motivate.
essentially, like your keywords can multiply into hashtags as well within your business kind of thing? Is that what you're?
Maybe not directly, because a keyword is it's a little bit different. A keyword, you know, there's something called a long tail keyword, which we'll explain in a second, but
Okay,
you know, the example here for a long tail keyword would be, you know, men's brown Oxford shoes, right? So your
Okay.
hashtag might be a little more simple than that, right? But you're definitely going to see some shared terms across the two for sure. And if you're trying to start, you know, a hashtag, trying to get something to campaign well on social media, then obviously it's going to be, you know, borrowing from the same font that your keywords do as well. So,
okay,
yeah, so you want to choose a variety, but also at the same time, you want to have them incorporated kind of into one easy spot for Google to find and index. With regards to keywords, go with long tail. So the difference between short tail and long tail is kind of illustrated here with an example about shoes. Men's brown Oxford shoes would be a long tail keyword. Basically, it's more specific. It's easier to rank well than for a shorter term like just shoes, as you can imagine, because shoes covers pretty well any type of shoes you can find. Shoes even covers things that aren't necessarily stuff you put on your feet when you think about it. So a long tail keyword is going to generate less traffic, but the traffic is much better qualified. It's much better zeroed in this way. It's estimated that over 50% of searches are long tail queries. People, you know, as the years go on, get better and better with their, you know, their Google Fu, I call it, or Google Kung Fu, being able to kind of search in such a way that finds a very, very specific answer to what you're trying to find. And, you know, it's estimated that over half of searches are quite specific in that regard. The next topic we want to cover today is zero click. Zero click is something that, you know, especially in 2022 has really gained more and more prominence. It's something that as Google continues to kind of consolidate everything underneath them is only going to gain more prominence as we go on. So a zero click search is when a user searches for something specific on Google and they get the answer to the query directly in the search results. So this means that they're not clicking through to a specific individual website. Their entire journey with that search starts and ends with Google. So nearly 65% of searches in 2020 were zero click. So how would this affect your business? As you see the pie graph on the side there, around 65% were zero click searches. You find that information, you don't need to go anywhere else. We see that all the times with our clients. You know, a good Google business profile, which we'll get to in a little bit, that's the buck stops there. Oftentimes, if you have that populated correctly, you don't really need to go to your website to convert into a phone call or a message or something like that. So.
Do you want them to go to your website though? Because then you'd know that they were searching for it.
So you do, definitely want to have the website out there. It's a great way to showcase everything you do in great detail. And obviously, everybody expects you to have one. But if Google had their way, everything would just be done on Google. And they're only going to continue kind of pushing that. So it's really important to, obviously keep your website up to date, keep that everything up to snuff there. But you don't want to be behind the curve when it comes to, things shifting in a more increasing way to zero click. So your organic click-through rate was around 34% of the end result of a search, and your paid click-through rate was about 1.6%. So paid being advertisements, organic being organic search engine results that someone clicks through to your website on. But as you can see, over half just started and ended with Google. So how does that affect your business? Well, Google has over 92% of the search engine market share worldwide. So given that they are, further and further increasing this trend, this is definitely something that you want to be on top of. So when a user enters a search query that pulls up your business, the very first thing they're going to see is your Google business profile. Your Google business profile is your first impression, and it determines a couple different things. So if they're going to visit your website, they're going to call your business, they're going to look up directions to visit your business, or if they're going to message you, you'll notice the first one is not underlined, the next three are. So the next three would all be what we consider zero click. So when you think, 92% of search traffic happens on Google, vast majority of the time, the first thing you see is your Google business profile. They're generally given 4 different ways to interact with you, and 3 of them are zero click already, right? They still have the option to visit your website, but now it's one of, generally 4 things you can do. So as Google continues to expand zero click, it's just becoming increasingly important to optimize the content on your Google business profile. So you'll notice here what I did is I ran a search for entrepreneur support Belleville. You'll notice that's a nice long tail keyword. First one to come up was the Small Business Center, which was excellent to see. And there's a couple different things to note here. You'll notice right at the bottom of their Google business profile listing there's actually a snippet of a review that was left on their Google business profile. 3 years ago, they helped me so much. That's a great little bit of user generated content, and that was put there through automation as well. So that's not necessarily a choice that was made by the Small Business Center to have that quote appear at the bottom. That's something that Google just did. So another topic we're going to get into a little bit later is automation. So that's just kind of one example of it, but also an example of good user generated content. So yeah, Brianna, if you could actually click that link on the left-hand side there. Oh, sorry, I think we meant to do it with that one. Yeah. So many keyboards. Yeah, a little short URL there. And hopefully the screen share. Can you guys now see the girl hugging the dog? Can you? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So this is a Google business profile of a business that we do the digital marketing for. Bestie's Pet Spa and Cuisine, just over the Bay Bridge in Rossmore. But as you see here, this is a very good example of a profile that's set up to do very well with zero click. Yeah, feel free to scroll through all of those. You notice there's just a ton of different content. We've actually gone and even taken 3D photos of different areas of the business, so that when you click it, it's like you're standing right inside. So yeah, you'll probably see some as you go by. I think the next one actually is one. Or here, can I borrow that for a second?
Yeah.
Go specifically. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And these, we were actually just sending an email to the rest of the team the other day. We've had our 3D camera for about a year now at AMS Digital. And we've already racked up over 30,000 views of these 3D photos. The 3D camera takes a nice, prettier picture than this. However, your Google business profile will compress it a little bit to optimize for size. However, it still gives people a really, really good impression. And it's almost like standing in your business, right? So, you know, they can see the base where your dog will be groomed. You can see some views inside the store, all the different products. So, well, we've done a fantastic website for them that does very, very well. At the same time, there's just a huge amount of traffic that never does make it past their Google business profile, and for good reason. So if we could just close this tab.
Yep.
Just go back to the presentation.
Can I ask you a quick question about I just looked up your profile and I got to, AMS Digital. But as soon as I tapped on your website link, there was an ad that came up for Elite Digital and kind of superseded, almost spoofed into it. I don't know if there's anything you can do about stuff like that.
I'm not quite sure what we're seeing there. I can have a look if I like. Oh, yeah, so what you're seeing there is a Google ad. So essentially what they probably have is, digital obviously set up as a keyword.
Right.
Digital marketing set up as a keyword probably. The thing about a Google ad is it's always going to appear at the top, which is why it's a very, very important strategy for businesses to be using. Oh, here, I can get that full screen again there. It's all right. It's our first hybrid workshop, so bear with us today, folks. There we go. Can everybody see the slides again? Perfect. Back to where we were. Oh. All right, so the next thing we want to talk about today is automation. This is going to be something that again affects everything going forward in the world, but with regards to how it applies to digital marketing, there's a couple different things that is going to affect just about every business owner out there that they need to be on top of. So Google Business Profile has recently developed a tendency to update your things automatically for you, even if you don't want them to. So this is something that we stay on top of for clients to make sure that everything is indeed correct for them. I think this is a system that's probably going to get better and better over time. But as it is now, sometimes you can have some undesirable changes to your Google Business Profile done in an automated manner. So it's really important to monitor for any and all changes and stay on top of your Google Business Profile to make sure all your info is correct. And even more recently, they've developed a tendency to pull information from other sources and add services to your profile that may not be correct. And again, we've had to go through and fix this for clients recently, more increasingly over the last few months. So it's definitely something to stay on top of. It's right down to the point now where, say your business hours show you're open till 7 p.m. But the location data that they get from everybody's phone shows that nobody goes to your business past about 5 o'clock. They may well take that, evidence or information and change your Google hours on your business profile on your behalf. So automation again is kind of creeping into every facet of our life. So it's important to stay on top of this. Recently, now this isn't really big in Canada yet, but it's going to be. It's quite big in the States already. Google My Business, which is now called Google Business Profile. But there's something that they have called Duplex. It's a little system, or not a little system, it's an AI system that they developed to basically be kind of a digital assistant to call businesses on your behalf, make reservations, make bookings and that sort of thing. It's got a nice natural voice. It doesn't sound like a robot. What they've recently done is they've kind of put it to task to call businesses to verify your hours. So, well, this one's a little less complicated. You might just get a call one day asking you to confirm your hours for your Google Business Profile. Again, it's just another example of automation kind of creeping into everything. I wouldn't be surprised, if there's anybody who runs a restaurant doesn't start getting these calls soon, making table reservations for people on their behalf. Just something to kind of keep a watch for. Also, Google Ads, this is kind of a topic that I feel is very well covered probably in a lot of people's minds. However, it's worth covering today just with some tips and some pointers. So your Google Ads, when you think about it, is another example of automation. You kind of set up the parameters for your ad, and then Google does its thing for you from there. So some best practices when you're setting up your Google Ads, you want to use a pay-per-click planning template. There's a bunch of different stuff out there. If you just Google that nice long tail search term, pay-per-click planning template, you'll probably find the exact same example that I did here. Avoid broad keyword terms. So again, you want to keep it more so for long tail that's relevant to your business, and a variety of these long tail terms that are relevant to your business. And you want to avoid the broad stuff because again, you'll bring in more traffic, but it'll be a lot less qualified. You don't want to run irrelevant ads, quite honestly. Obviously, sorry. Back to our example of the jeweler. You know, a jeweler doesn't want to, have anything about jewelry supplies, unless they specifically deal on them, but most don't. Because the target demographic for them are folks who are looking for new jewelry already assembled, right? Improve your quality score. So when you run Google Ads, basically Google will always be updating you at least once a week with information on if your quality score has gone up or down. You'll get an email, you'll also get a notification about it. And then from there, they'll give you some terms to improve your quality score. So your quality score is basically what determines your rankings for the different keywords that you're trying to hit for. So Google will kind of offer you some suggestions in your Google Ads console to improve your quality score. Oftentimes they'll suggest different keywords and that sort of thing as well, based on what's working for other Google ad campaigns. And you want to optimize your ad landing page. So, if the Google ad is the lure, the landing page is, pulling the line and setting that lure and something that is meant to convert that view into a conversion or a purchase with your business. So you want to optimize your ad landing page. One of the best ways to do that, again, is video. So our ad landing page actually has a video right embedded on it. We've taken this philosophy to heart ourselves. Again, if you, Brianna, could click the bottom right link there on the
Yes.
slide.
I have to stop sharing because I need to, it's an audio, there's music to it or no?
Yes, there's audio.
Okay, so I have to stop sharing and then reshare.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
To share sound and optimize for video clip.
Yep. Sir?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you click the escape button, I think? There you go. Yep, there we go. Sorry, guys.
I'll just click the back.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
There we go. Sorry. So yeah, as you can see, our paid ad campaigns lead directly to a specific landing page we have set up with our contact us form, our free digital marketing assessment offer video, where basically everything we do, along with a really cool offer, is encapsulated with a really good call to action in less than minute long video. So makes things very, very good in terms of a sales funnel for clients. Again, if the ad itself was the hook, your landing page is setting that hook to reel in that conversion. And we have found that this has been really good for us. So the next topic I'm going to cover today is messaging and communication. So nowadays, especially, so a little bit of a background on me, I have, and I base a lot of stuff off of them, actually, it's kind of funny. I have a 15-year-old stepson. And when you think about it, like, oh yeah, he's a kid or whatever, but in 3 years, he's going to be a legal adult. He's going to be a potential client, right? So when you look at this generation, kind of coming up now, there's kind of a built-in expectation that they can reach out and talk to you and be responded to and be acknowledged and be validated and that sort of thing. Growing up when I was a kid, it was very one way. You'd get the TV commercial, they'd shout at you and try to get whatever information they could into your brain. And that was that, really. You had to go to the store or whatever to find out. Whereas everything now, especially with smartphones and everything else, the rise of social media, there's just a built-in expectation that people can reach out and communicate with you, and that you will communicate, in a prompt manner. So it's a lot, the easier it is to make a potential customer contact you, the better, or to make it for a potential customer to contact you, the better. People's patience for wait times is not increasing as time goes on. I'm generally not a very patient person myself. But again, to kind of see this new generation of people, there's a big expectation on everything being very instantaneous. So people want to be able to message businesses to get the information that they need. So having the option to easily connect with a business makes customers trust the brand more. So you're not just viewing the content of a brand, you're now communicating with a representative from it. You have the option to reach out, maybe have things clarified and that sort of thing. So there's a much greater element of trust, which is going to be even bigger going forward. So some ways to do this: your Google business profile is a fantastic way. Facebook, Instagram, having a chat on your website, even texting. Actually, up until a couple of years ago, before the Google business profiles had the instant messenger built in, or the chat as they call it now built in, it was actually set up as a text. You click the thing on your phone, and then we text it over SMS. So some best practices for your Google business profile chat. Now, obviously, these would apply to any kind of instant messaging or texting that a customer or a potential customer might do with your business. But again, back to the numbers there, 92% of web traffic is done on Google. The first thing they're going to see, if they're going to find you, is your Google business profile. So again, it's very, very important. You want to set up a welcome message. You want to turn the notifications on your phone, so that when you get these messages, you can reply to these messages. You also want to turn them on your computer. It's quite easy both ways. Generally, it will ask you, right, if you want to have notifications. But yes, try to respond as soon as possible. Keep an eye on your phone. Google lets people know how responsive you are. You'll see an example of that in a little bit. And when you think about it again, I've actually gone through this with my stepson. If when you click this chat window and it opens up and it says they usually reply in 24 hours, what would you do, buddy? He's like, well, I don't know if I message them, I might just call them, right? So you kind of lose the value of having that chat-based interaction with clients, which is huge for people. So I've noticed more and more some people have kind of what I call telephone anxiety. They would much rather just chat over a web application. It's a lot easier on them. So being able to do this right across Google, where again most of the traffic is, and the first place to see you is your business profile. Responding to people quickly is very, very key, because it will encourage them to reach out. Don't ignore the spam. Unfortunately, you're going to get it. Just be sure to mark it as spam or block the senders to avoid getting more in the future. Make sure you mark it as spam. That's just going to help things get better going forward. So Frontenac Pools is a company in Kingston that we do the digital marketing for. And these are just some screenshots from my phone. I've kind of done a little YouTube yellow circle to highlight the chat button there. But as you see, of the 4 things that you can do, again, 3 of them are 0-click. One of them is go to the website. And the website's the last option, right? So you can call them, you can chat with them, or you can get directions to go right to the business. So with those 3 things, with everything set up the way it is, there really isn't a need to go to the website. However, people still expect it. It's still great to have. So when you click the chat button, that's the next thing you see. Hi, how can I help you today? They've just kind of kept one of the default welcome messages. And then as you see, typically responds in 1 hour. So the folks at Frontenac Pools do a fantastic job of keeping on top of this. So if you were to, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who doesn't necessarily want to make that phone call or want to make that directions, or maybe just wants a little more information before they decide to take that next step. When you click this, they typically respond in an hour. You're going to be pretty likely to go, okay, let's message them, right? So this is only going to become more and more important going forward. Again, I think back to my 15-year-old stepson. He would rather interact this way than a phone call. It was completely different than me. I'd rather just give you a shout and talk. But I don't know, I'm 35 years old now, right? So yes, sir.
A quick question on that, and that is for a small business, 2 or 3 people, it's very hard to have everybody working in interrupt mode, or even dedicating one person to the occasional phone call, but the phone calls are obviously very important. Are there services that you can outsource that kind of initial response qualification process?
For your Google Business profile?
No, for people who are coming to your website and they want to chat, and we have full chat facilities, we have chat bots that help qualify all that kind of stuff. But I'm thinking if somebody wants to chat right now with a live operator, that puts a great stress on us because all the work we do is pretty highly detailed. Your head's down working on stuff. You don't want to be interrupted by people every 15 minutes. It would kill your productivity. So are there organizations you can outsource that kind of initial conversation to?
Not that I could name off the top of my head, but I have to imagine there's people out there filling that
Sounds
niche.
like a business
I was
opportunity.
gonna say, there you go. Great place to be to get that sort of thing
Yeah,
going here at the
okay.
Small Business Center,
Sure.
right? So there's, they've already done that sort of thing with the telephone, right? A long time ago with the answering services. Sometimes you call through to the business and you can kind of tell it's not really the business, but there's someone there to answer the phone anyway. But yes, I mean, I can only say that I imagine, yes, there's folks out there filling that role.
Thanks.
But at the same time, even if you're getting one every 15 minutes, which is pretty rapid fire, I'd say, even if you just use it as a chance to respond and channel them into a different way, right? So give us a call or schedule an appointment or any other, variety of ways that you would rather sales funnel them. You can still use this as an opportunity to do so. They still feel responded to, validated, and looked after, right? So. All right, and you know what? Geez, 15 minutes left for questions and discussion. This is where we're going to kind of open up the floor. If anybody has any questions, any comments, I'd be happy to do my best to answer everything.
I'm just gonna stop recording, so if you wish to unmute, you're welcome to do so, or you can put your questions in the chat.